You ever watch a lion pacing the edge of the cage, eyes blazing with a hunger not quite sated, pacing yet held back by invisible chains? You see strength in motion, promise in every step, and yet there's a simmering tension underneath that threatens to snap. What if the fiercest warriors aren't just battling on the field, but are stuck wrestling inside their own heads, caught between loyalty and frustration, between what's earned and what's given? Detroit's heartbeat is echoing louder than ever because behind the scenes, where the bright lights fade, something raw and restless is breaking loose. And the rawest voice comes from a man who wears the city's pride on his sleeves, Alex Anelone. Now, if you're feeling that electric surge of anticipation, that pull of Detroit's relentless spirit, I want you to flood the comments and let us know. Are you ready to stand shoulder to shoulder with a defender who refuses to be forgotten? Because insiders are whispering that what we're seeing on the surface, the hamstring injury, the cautious steps back onto the practice field, is only half the story. Behind closed doors, there's a different kind of injury festering. A contract saga tangled in disappointment and defiance. Executives are holding their breath as the final year of a 3-year deal ticks down. $18.3 million invested, but with no hint of an extension. And yet Alex isn't stepping back. He's not wilting in the face of uncertainty. He's making it crystal clear. He wants to retire a Lion, to wear the Honolulu blue and silver until his last whistle. But here's the gut punch. This wasn't a quiet reunion. Anelone's return to practice was as much about fighting through physical pain as it was about facing contractual limbo. He's no longer the highest paid linebacker. That crown belongs to Derek Barnes now. Younger, less proven, but with a fat $24 million paycheck making waves through the locker room. Think about that. The heart and backbone of the defense. Edged out not because of performance, but perhaps politics, perhaps cap space, or something deeper tangled in the fabric of a franchise that's been clawing its way back from the ashes for years. Dan Campbell, to his credit, won't let this saga spiral into drama. He's one of our dudes, Campbell said, but you can hear the underlying urgency when he speaks. We're good, still talking. No animosity, he insists. But every coach knows those words can mean everything and nothing all at once. Detroit's defense leaned on Anelone last year once he returned from injury, and it wasn't just about tackles or tackles for loss. It was about heart, hustle, identity, a soul that this team, this city, needs more than ever. We've stared down heartbreak since '91. We've watched seasons slip away in agonizing fashion. And through the Caldwell years, we learned to claw from desperation. This isn't just player drama. It's a reflection of Detroit's eternal fight to stand tall in the face of overwhelming odds. But what if this contract deadlock isn't just a hiccup? What if it's a turning point that will define Detroit's defense for the next critical season? Could this simmering frustration either ignite a firestorm that propels Alex to transcend into legend status before our very eyes or fracture a unit desperate for stability? What if holding out for a deserved contract motivates Anelone to dig deeper into his own West Side grit, delivering a season where every tackle echoes through Ford Field like a roar or like a warning? And if this contract whisper turns into a shout, what does that mean for the locker room chemistry? For a defense that Dan Campbell insists needs him? Is this the final test of loyalty or the start of cracks threatening to splinter our last line of defense? And what if this is Detroit's last real shot at building a championship contender before the clock runs out on this core? Because in this city, we don't just rebuild. We rage, we roar, we rise, and sometimes we bleed. We demand that our heroes be more than just athletes. They have to be warriors with soul as fierce as Detroit steel. So as Alex Anelone steps out of the shadows of injury and contract uncertainty back into the devil's den of Lions practice, know this: the stakes couldn't be higher, the tension more palpable, and the path ahead dangerously uncertain. And if this domino falls, you won't believe who's next. Because now the fuse is lit. It's just a matter of time before this story explodes. Shaking Detroit to its core. Unleash the beast within Detroit. This is more than a game. It's a battle for our very soul. Every scar etched in the Ford Field's walls screams of past heartbreaks. The 0-16 nightmare lurking like a ghost. Calvin Johnson turning away from the game he loved. Barry Sanders walking into the sunset with tears in his eyes. A Jim Caldwell era that felt like hope bleeding out. A playoff collapse etched into our memories like scars we'll never forget. We've been to the brink, seen our Warriors battered and bruised, yet still standing, still fighting to claw back that elusive glory, knowing full well that every season's victory and defeat is etched into the fabric of Detroit's relentless spirit. Now, here we are, on the edge again, Alex Anelone, the heartbeat of that gritty defense, aching to prove his worth in a contract saga that's tearing through the locker room like a lightning bolt. The whispers say the front office is playing hardball, leveraging cap space and politics while knowing damn well that losing him could crater what little remains of Detroit's defensive backbone. Coaches are tight-lipped, but Campbell's words echo hollow beneath that surface. He's one of our dudes, always will be, no matter what. Yet behind those words is a silent plea, a desperate hope to keep the unity alive. Angelone's return is a shot of adrenaline, but his body's battered, his mind racing through doubts. Is this just a fleeting comeback, or the last stand of a lion fighting to etch his legacy into the annals? Could this stand, this silent defiance, ignite a revolution within the locker room? A catalyst that propels Detroit from a gritty underdog to an FC powerhouse? Or will it fracture what's left of the fragile harmony that Dan Campbell has desperately built, turning our last line of defense into a powder keg ready to explode? The NFC North is watching with cold, calculating eyes. Green Bay, Minnesota. Chicago, they sense blood in the water, knowing that Detroit's window of opportunity is closing fast, and this contract deadlock could be the opening they need to pounce. The ghosts of playoff heartbreaks hang heavy. We've seen the wild card collapse where complacency crept in, watched as our offense faltered in critical moments, and felt the sting of last year's playoff push that proved we're almost there but just out of reach until now. This moment is different. The stakes are higher than ever because it's not just about Angelone's loyalty. It's about the identity of a franchise desperate to reclaim respect, to prove that Detroit isn't just a city of fallen dreams, but a battleground where warriors rise from the ashes. If Anelone walks away, even temporarily, does it signal hyper-focus on external voices? Or is it the beginning of a quiet rebellion against the front office, a statement that we demand more than just scraps? Inside that locker room, the tension crackles with unspoken words, the veteran players exchanging nervous glances, the rookies sensing the storm brewing beneath the surface. The city's heartbeat pounds like a drum in our chests, echoing every hit, every tackle, every blood-soaked grind that's brought us here. And what if Angelone's stand sparks a domino effect? What if others follow, forcing decisions that could shake the very foundation of this team? Because in Detroit, we don't just fight to compete, we fight to survive, to etch our defiant mark in NFL history. The question isn't just about loyalty anymore. It's about whether Detroit's indomitable spirit can withstand the storm, whether the next chapter will be written in steel and fire or chaos and collapse. As Anelone finally steps back onto the practice field, limping but defiant, the air thickens with anticipation, the season's fate hanging in that fragile balance. And as that helmet clangs onto his head, one thing's certain: every rival, every executive, every fan watching from the shadows knows that Detroit has just entered the crucible, and the next move could trigger a war that roars beyond the horizon, leaving nothing untouched. So the question remains, is this our redemption, or are we just witnessing the beginning of our downfall?